A combat ship lands on the horizon, its shadow casting an ominous forewarning over the royal palace. As it descends, Frieza appears alone, without an escort, displaying an intimidating confidence. He advances with measured, slow steps, as if each one heralds a terrifying prelude. Inside the palace, King Vegeta receives word of Frieza's arrival and immediately prepares to meet him. King Vegeta stands in the center of the hall, accompanied by a pair of guards. His eyes sparkle with intrigue and alertness as he tries to discern the reason for this unexpected visit. Frieza enters, walking unhurriedly, with a cold smile on his face. "Lord Frieza! It is an honor to receive you on our planet. To what do we owe this unexpected visit?"
My dear King Vegeta, the honor is all mine. I apologize for not announcing my arrival beforehand, but something of utmost importance has arisen, and I thought it best to address it in person.
"Something important, you say? May I ask what it is about?"
I have received reports of a fascinating legend, one that speaks of a prodigious warrior, a Super Saiyan, and it seems that this legend has begun to take shape.
King Vegeta remains silent, attempting not to reveal his thoughts, though his eyes reflect the blend of pride and fear he feels. Frieza walks slowly around him, observing every reaction. "They're just rumors, my lord. Old stories without foundation. We Saiyans are powerful. It's true, but to speak of a legend..."
Oh, King Vegeta, no need to pretend. I'm not here to accuse. In fact, I'm only here to supervise, nothing more. And of course, to get a little sample of Saiyan potential, particularly from the young prince, your heir.
"My son? Why are you interested in him?"
Just simple curiosity, of course. I've heard his potential is extraordinary, even more than I would have expected for someone his age. Fascinating, isn't it?
The tension in the room is palpable. Frieza smiles, satisfied with the uncertainty he has sown. King Vegeta remains silent for a moment, weighing how to respond to the power dominating his race. "My lord, Prince Vegeta is the pride of our race, a born warrior. He's still young, but I have no doubt that he will become the strongest warrior of all Saiyans."
I expected nothing less, King Vegeta. Nothing less.
Frieza takes a few more steps, admiring the walls decorated with Saiyan insignias and symbols of their race's history. He appears distracted, but in his mind, the plan is advancing, as cold and calculated as his words.
Then I'd like a tour. I want to see this Saiyan potential firsthand. Let's start with the prince, if you don't mind.
"As you wish, Lord Frieza. Follow me." King Vegeta nods to the guards, who step aside. With no other option but to obey, he begins to lead Frieza toward the quarters where young Vegeta is training. As they walk, the king hides his fury behind a cold mask, knowing that Frieza's presence on his planet is a direct threat, one he cannot ignore. On the other side of the planet, Goku, Bardock, Guinea, and Raditz are seated around the table, sharing a rare and peaceful family dinner. Bardock observes his family with a slight smile, while Guinea fills the plates and Raditz eats enthusiastically. Goku, still focused on his training, takes each bite with the excitement typical of a young Saiyan. Suddenly, the calm is interrupted by an explosion at the door. The imposing figure of Captain Ginyu bursts into the house, his presence charged with menace and violence.
What's happening?
Captain Ginyu? Here? Before anyone can react, Ginyu raises a hand, firing a powerful ki blast directly at Goku. Goku is about to be hit, but Bardock pushes him aside and quickly deflects the attack. "What the hell do you think you're doing, Captain Ginyu?"
Do you really think I'm unaware, Bardock? Frieza doesn't need another Saiyan threat running around, especially not two. Bardock, I won't let him hurt us. I've come to end this before the legend becomes reality. You're one of them, aren't you, kid? I don't know what you're talking about, but I won't let you hurt my family.
Ginyu fires another attack at Goku, but this time Bardock intercepts with a punch, forcing the captain back. The two stare intensely at each other, Bardock with a protective gaze, determined not to let anything happen to his family, and Ginyu with an arrogant smile. "Take your mother and run, now!"
Oh, you're not going anywhere! My mission is simple. Eliminate any Saiyan threat before it becomes a problem for Lord Frieza.
Dad, why is Captain Ginyu attacking us? There's no time for explanations, Raditz. Take care of your mother and brother.
Gine, her face full of worry, grabs Goku and Raditz, pulling them toward the back door. However, before they can escape, Ginyu fires a blast of energy at them. Without hesitation, Bardock jumps in between them to shield them, taking the hit on his shoulder and barely managing to stay on his feet.
How touching, Bardock. But I'm afraid that won't be enough to stop me. You can try whatever you want, Ginyu, but let me warn you, Saiyans aren't so easy to wipe out.
Bardock prepares to attack, his ki flaring around him. Ginyu smiles, accepting the challenge. The small cabin is about to become a battlefield as Bardock, with the gaze of a father willing to risk everything, faces Captain Ginyu in a fight that will decide his family's fate. Goku finds himself being pulled along by Gine as Raditz desperately tries to open the back door. However, Goku's inner voice rings out strong and intense, filled with emotions he's only beginning to understand. If only I had more strength. If I weren't just a kid, I could face that monster. I could help my father. This time is different. I have a father, a true warrior who doesn't run away, who's willing to protect all of us. I can't stand back while he risks it all. Goku clenches his fist, feeling a mixture of helplessness and respect as he watches his father confront Ginyu. Bardock, with a determined expression, stands firmly in front of Ginyu, his ki surrounding him like a tempest.
Is that all you've got, Bardock? Defending your family? Pathetic. Saiyans are warriors, not babysitters.
You know nothing about what it means to be a true warrior, Ginyu. A true warrior fights to protect what he loves, even if it means facing death. Ginyu sneers with contempt, launching himself at Bardock with a barrage of punches. Bardock dodges the first few, his movements steady and calculated, but Ginyu's strength gradually pushes him back. Ginyu is relentless, delivering attacks with brutal precision, while Bardock responds with a combination of speed and strength that only a Saiyan warrior can muster. The fight intensifies, the walls of the cabin trembling with each clash of ki and explosions echoing in the air. Ginyu, with a sadistic grin, lands a powerful blow that Bardock barely manages to block, pushing him back as his feet scrape the ground. Dad! Bardock steadies himself, breathing heavily, but with a look that defies death itself. His body is covered in scrapes and wounds, yet his eyes show no hint of surrender.
Is that all, Bardock? Is this the great warrior who supposedly can stand up to me?
If you think that's all I have, Ginyu, then you know nothing about Saiyans. You don't know what we're capable of when we fight for those we love. With a roar of fury, Bardock summons all the power he can, his aura expanding, creating a gust of wind around him. Ginyu watches with a mixture of surprise and disbelief, but he readies himself for the next attack. Goku's eyes, full of awe and admiration, observe his father with a deep resolve forming within him. The battle continues, each strike echoing the unbreakable will of Bardock. But Ginyu, with his brutality and power, keeps pressing on, and Bardock, though determined, starts to show signs of wear. The cabin is on the brink of collapse, and each member of the Saiyan family watches, feeling the gravity of this moment. The fight grows more intense, and the power gap becomes clear. Bardock is hurt, panting with each breath, his movements slower, but his eyes haven't lost their determination. Across from him, Ginyu observes with a cruel smile, savoring his dominance in the battle.
Enough, Bardock! You're just another insect, an insignificant obstacle in Lord Frieza's path. Do you really think you stand a chance?
Maybe I'm not strong enough, but I'm a Saiyan, and if this is my last fight, I'll make sure you remember it. Bardock launches a final attack, but Ginyu evades it effortlessly, countering with a lethal blow. Ginyu's speed surpasses Bardock's weakened defenses, and he barely manages to stay on his feet. In a final moment, Ginyu drives his fist through Bardock's torso in a merciless strike, his arm piercing the Saiyan warrior. The family watches in chilling silence. Gine lets out a strangled cry, while Raditz stumbles back, unable to comprehend what's happening. Bardock, however, remains standing, his body trembling as a line of blood drips from his lips, but his expression remains firm, defiant.
Look where your honor has led you, Bardock.
If I know anything, it's that the Saiyan legacy doesn't die so easily. With those words, Bardock collapses to the ground, his energy fading. The scene is one of overwhelming stillness, but amidst the silence, a scream echoes, a piercing cry that cuts through the air. Dad! Suddenly, an explosion of energy surrounds Goku, his body trembling as his fists clench so tightly that his veins become visible.
His ki begins to rise at a dizzying speed, and a golden glow bursts from his body. The ground vibrates beneath him, and a storm of energy radiates from the young Saiyan.
What? What is happening?
Goku's eyes turn blue, his hair standing on end, taking on a brilliant golden hue. A powerful aura envelops him, blazing with an uncontrollable fury.
I'll never forgive you! Never!
The Super Saiyan transformation is complete. Goku's energy is overwhelming, surpassing any limit Ginyu has ever felt before. The captain retreats, shocked by the unleashed power before him. Goku glares at him with fury and pain, his small figure now emanating an imposing and terrifying aura.
What are you?
Goku doesn't respond. With staggering speed, he launches himself at Ginyu, striking with a force that the captain can barely process. Goku hits again and again with the precision and brutality of a warrior driven to the edge of his grief. Still transformed as a Super Saiyan, Goku breathes deeply, controlling the rage that consumes him. The young warrior keeps his gaze fixed on Ginyu, who stumbles, immobilized by pain and terror. For the first time in his life, Ginyu feels a threat beyond his control.
No, this can't be happening!
Goku, with a determined and pained expression, slowly raises his hands, positioning them for his most powerful technique. The golden energy around him begins to swirl, enveloping his palms, and a sky-blue sphere starts to form, growing with an intensity that lights up the area. His voice trembles with anger.
Kame...
Ginyu, still in shock, can barely react, watching as Goku's energy builds, its intensity filling the air with an overwhelming pressure. Gine and Raditz from the ground stare in awe at Goku's power as the glow from his technique lights up the area like daylight.
Ah!
With a scream of pure fury and sorrow, Goku fires the Kamehameha. The energy blast is monumental, tearing through the air in a torrent of blue that races toward Ginyu with devastating speed. Ginyu, paralyzed, barely manages to raise his hands in a desperate attempt to defend himself, but it's futile. The Kamehameha engulfs him, and his scream of terror is swallowed by the energy. The beam pierces through his body, disintegrating him completely.